So, hey, what's up guys? It's the Nightwing Way of Life Esports coming at you guys with another League of Legends video. Here to talk about the LCS Spring Split 2020 Playoffs Round 4, TSM versus 100 Thieves. And I think in this matchup, it's going to be basically up in the air as to see what TSM we are actually going to get. Because, you know, in most playoff series, either we get a TSM that is super dominant from the regular season, and then they translate into playoffs not so strong, then they kind of ramp up. Kind of like how SKT and G2 used to do it back in the day. Like if they had a bad split, they would kind of ramp up in playoffs. So maybe with TSM having this 5th place 9-9 record, maybe they might actually be a super strong team in the playoffs. Remember, it was TSM that knocked out Cloud9 back in last spring in 2019. So maybe this time around, TSM will actually be insanely strong in playoffs and not really a strong best of 1 team. Like I said before, best of 5s are way different from best of 1s to actually see the real strength of a team in general. So going with this matchup, I think that TSM does have the edge in terms of experience. I actually think that it'll be a huge upset if 100 Thieves actually beats them, because looking at what 100 Thieves have actually showed us, at least from watching them versus Cloud9, it really does look like they're drafting for band-aid solutions. They are too aggressive for what they're actually trying to do. Game 2 against Cloud9, Someday is trying to kill Blabber when he doesn't have priority. When 100 Thieves are taking Dragon, that is a clear-cut miscommunication amongst the 100 Thieves players. And I think that coming into this matchup, it's all about the mid-game, and whoever can play out the mid-game better is actually going to win. So I think that 100 Thieves, at least from Game 3, showed us they can at least be competitive and not roll over and die. Now, with that being said, TSM has also really struggled, obviously, with mid-game. One of the biggest things they've all talked about in their TSM Legends series, obviously, that they have had for multiple different years that I've watched, is the mid-game and how to play out the mid-game. And really, the lane assignments is really something they actually need to do in order to actually be a much stronger team moving forward. Now, TSM don't individually have bad players, and that's the good thing for them going into the series, is that not having bad individual players in a best of 5 means they have no real weaknesses from the basis going up. But when you look at them in terms of like gameplay, it really does look like Dardoch ganks for Broken Blade and Bjergson, and he doesn't really give bot lane any resources. The bot lane plays low econ, and they try to obviously go even and or win their lane, and they have been doing that. They really haven't just outright lost. Actually, they've pretty much went even with every single bot lane. I think Kabe and Biofrost are pretty solid just all around, to the point where like most of, if you're just not outright better than them, you're not really going to beat them, which is good, because Broken Blade and Bjergson can have more of those resources to actually carry, because during the split, Dardoch has actually been able to put more resources into Broken Blade, and he's actually been able to carry them sufficiently. And I think that 100 Thieves could be that way, but Meteos didn't really gank for Someday. Let's be honest here. He probably ganked for him maybe like, I'm going to give him a max like 6 times during the split, and in that series against Cloud9, they did not even at one point even touch Someday's lane. I mean, even you had Stunt, he didn't even roam up to top lane either. So 100 Thieves coming into this matchup, I even think they're outclassed in mid lane, which I think is a really big strength of TSM in playoffs. I think Bjergson likes to turn it on in playoffs. You get to see more of him. I think he's just a stronger player overall. Last time these teams actually faced, 100 Thieves did win actually, but Bjergson was destroying Ryoma in that mid lane. It was more or less so Someday, Meteos, and Cody's on the stunt carrying Ryoma forward after he got demolished in the mid lane by Bjergson's Azir. So let's go lane by lane. Someday versus Broken Blade, I think it's actually pretty even. Broken Blade and Licorice can outmatch Someday and or beat him, and then vice versa, obviously. But if 100 Thieves actually want to beat TSM, I think they need to put way more resources into Someday. And if you're Ziggs and you're watching the Cloud9 series, you want to put in more resources to the top lane, because Someday will be your win condition here. Meteos versus Dardoch is also pretty even, but depends on which Dardoch we see. Dardoch has only really been able to bin on Sejuani and Jarvan, so I think that that's going to be a problem if he's just on those champions. I think if they don't give him Lee Sin or Elise, he'll actually be quite weaker. But Meteos has shown he really even fell behind on basic things like Trundle and Sejuani when they weren't really giving him exactly what they needed. But it depends on the laners showing up that day. Now, you have the biggest mismatch in all the playoffs right now, and I think this is even bigger than Niski and Ryoma, and that's Bjergson versus Ryoma. So if Niski can destroy Ryoma that hard in the series, what do you think Bjergson is going to do? I mean, Bjergson might not be that Caps Perks level player, but he's still good enough to beat someone like Ryoma. So I'm going to give the edge to TSM in their mid laner. And then you have the bot lane, Cody Sun and Stunt versus Kabe and Biofrost. I think that matchup also goes towards even. Both of the bot lanes have shown that they can either lose gracefully but not be too far behind to where it's a detriment, or they're ahead by jungle pressure and then they're actually able to win. Now, when Dardoch does sometimes gank for the bot lane of TSM, the TSM's bot lane is decently ahead enough to the point where it's actually good for them to actually play off of their bot lane pressure. Now, looking at other things they can actually play, we've seen TSM try really wonky comps. We've seen 100 Thieves try really strange comps too. Well, 100 Thieves comps don't include Kale Top and Maokai mid, but like certain things they draft don't really feel like 100 Thieves, you know? You think of 100 Thieves like Trundle, Aatrox, Syndra, kind of like what we got last series, but in a few of their games from the split, they were playing champions they knew they couldn't play throughout, because to be flexible, you have to have players to be flexible, and I think TSM has the better players to be flexible, and I'm going to give this series towards TSM. I think they're actually going to win 3-1. I think TSM easily wins this series. I think game 1 they might lose. It'll be a decent upset if 100 Thieves actually does beat them. Let's be honest here. They have, objectively, TSM have the better players, you know, and even if it's not like by laning, it's definitely by the other parts of the game. So if TSM want to reach that next round, whoever they may face in FlyQuest, or is that, no, they're not going to face FlyQuest or GG, because they would have to obviously face someone else. Who would, if TSM actually beats 100 Thieves, or vice versa, who would they actually face? I just want to see right now. So the schedule is, let's go to LCS, Knockout Korea. I know, I just need to see the playoffs right here. I just need to see the playoff bracket. Okay, so, yeah. If TSM want to actually win this series, they'll end up facing a pretty decent opponent anyway. So, yeah. Let's see who they'll actually get. See you guys later. Like, comment, subscribe. Most of all, enjoy. I'm the Nightwing, and Way of Life Esports is signing out. Hopefully TSM doesn't int in the draft phase like they've been doing for the past, like, well, let's see, 18 games we've been seeing them. No, I'm just kidding. I think TSM is stronger, and I think they'll knock out 100 Thieves. I think they're just the objectively better team, even though it might not look like it right now. They have the better players in certain key positions that you need in a best of 5, and in mid lane, that's going to be their biggest side, to the point where they can actually play through. Hopefully Dardoch plays through Bjergson, because when they were playing through Bjergson in the mid lane, they were winning a bunch of championships. That's it. See you guys later. Bye. And have a good day. Peace.
Hi there, guys. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel for more stuff.
Yeah, thank you.